Hey, it's Corey with Freedom Investing Group. And today I'm going to talk about ChatGPT and mobile home park investing, or more accurately, property management. Um, and what the heck do those two have to do with each other? So I'm a little late to the party. Apparently, this thing got released to the world back in November, and I just kind of I don't usually pay that much attention to all the really techy stuff that's new and out there always. But I heard about this thing and I started playing with it, and it's pretty cool. And I think there's actually some uses for it. It's a little scary too. So I'd be interested to hear in the comments what you think. Are the robots taking over the world? If so, are we headed for Terminator or Wall-E? But anyway, let me show you. There is some useful things that this thing can do beyond just like entertainment value. So I'm gonna share a screen here, and I guess first up, just to be clear, when I'm using this or when anyone's using it, I would not recommend just taking anything from this thing verbatim because it can say stuff that's wrong. But if you need like a start to an email or a newsletter or something, it seems like it's got a lot of potential for that. So I'm going to share my screen up here and I'm going to show you a couple examples of things that we typed in recently. So we are, oh, but I got to get this like black presenting thing out of the way. Oh, there we go. So we are going to have our annual spring cleanups for residents this spring, and we want to put it into a newsletter. We want to put it into a newsletter that we're going to send to the residents. So here's one example. And so what I typed in here, I was just like, let me see what this thing can do. So rather than having to come up with this well-crafted thing, I typed in, write an article. This is all I typed in. I didn't give it any other instruction. Write an article for mobile home park residents advertising that we will have a spring cleanup in May. At the cleanup, a dumpster will be available and we will cater everyone's lunch. There's a chance to come together and beautify the community. I just kind of put the main points I wanted to talk about in the article. Just one, two, three. It is definitely not written. And here's what it spit back at me. It took about less than 30 seconds. It's probably a nicer article than I would have written. Spring is here and it's time to start thinking about sprucing up our community. We are excited to announce that we will be hosting a spring cleanup event on May, blah, blah, blah. This is an opportunity for all residents to come together and beautify our community. We will be providing a dumpster for all your trash and will even cater lunch for everyone who participates. This event will not only make our community look better, but will also foster a sense of togetherness and unity. We know that not everyone has the means to dispose of blah, 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 blah. It's all this stuff here. It's wonderful, honestly. Like I might add a little bit to it here or there to copy, paste, edit, but boom, there's our article written for us right there. It's kind of creepy how good it is. But there it is. So there's one use case for this ChatGPT thing. We got it to write us an article for our newsletter. Another one. And this one I will be editing, but I figured I'd share this one too. We had a resident who it's been really, really cold up in the northern states, and one of our residents in Minnesota, there was a freeze in a water line, and it was kind of right at the junction of where our line meets up with their line. It was a little unclear whose fault it was, whatever. We paid for it, we got it fixed, but it took a little while to get fixed. The contractor took a while to get it. First, she brought it up on our bad. It was a little bit of our bad. It took a little bit to get back to it, and then the contractor took a few days to get out there. So it was kind of a big deal, and so she was really upset, and understandably so. But she was also like, "I'm so upset. I'm not going to pay you rent," which isn't okay. We need the rent. That's how we run the park and pay for the people to fix the things. So I wanted to. She had sent us kind of some communication expressing that she was upset. So I wanted to come up with some kind of an email back to her that let her know, like, hey, we hear you, we understand, we're going to work on improving this, but you still have to pay your rent. That was kind of the goal of it. So I said, write a letter to a tenant stating that we understand she is frustrated with the time it took to resolve the last maintenance issue, but we are working hard to address the issues as fast as we can. Contractor availability and the weather are out of our control. Also, the occurrence of a maintenance issue is not an excuse to withhold rent. Because we are working on fixing it as fast as we can. So once again, it came up with a very nice email. I did end up tweaking this a little bit before I sent it. I added in a bit of a rent credit for her and some other things to try to rectify the situation. But I'm writing this letter to address your recent concerns regarding the time it took to resolve the last maintenance issue in your rental unit. I changed this to home, because she actually owns her home. It's not a rental unit. We understand your frustration and want to assure you that we are doing our best to address any issues as quickly as possible. Please understand that the factors out of our control that can impact the speed at which maintenance issues are addressed, such as contractor availability and weather conditions. However, we are actively working to minimize the delays caused by these factors. I also want to remind you that the occurrence of a maintenance issue does not give you the right to withhold rent. As stated in the agreement, rent is due on the date specified. Thank you for cooperation and understanding. We value your tenancy. I skipped a bit here, but we value your tenancy and continue to do our best to provide you with a safe and comfortable living environment. So I thought it was a really nice email, and I added a little bit, and I changed some words before I sent it. But gosh, as like a start, it's I think the email ended up way nicer than if I would have written it from scratch, and it took way less time to just do this and edit it. So kind of interesting. Be interesting to know. I just started playing with this thing. I'm interested to know what other people think. I can certainly see a potential for like problems if someone were to just take this and run with it without reading what it said first, like just say what they want and copy it in an email and send it. That could be a big problem, right? You still got to be responsible for what you are sending. So there's definitely you would want to paste it and edit it, but kind of a neat, mind-bogglingly well-performing tool that I'm just scratching the surface of. Let me know what you think. This is Corey with Freedom Community Management and Freedom Investing Group. Cheers.